Okay, I'm sitting here in class, and we just had a little bit of confusion trying to hand in a project, and rather than accept it, I just gave it back to them. I said, bring it back to the next class, and tried to take some of these suggestions and turn them into teachable points. So what I did was, after I spoke to the students in the class, I said to them, what do you think are some of the things that went wrong with your preparation for handing in this report? Because there were a number of different things. So we went over a couple of points. First of all, timing. Now, there's a couple things about timing which a student has to take into account when you're handing an assignment. The deadline itself. If the deadline is, say, 10 o'clock on Wednesday morning, you should not be walking into the class at 9:55 with a bunch of pages all trying to be stapled together. That should be done the day before. Here's the reason why. Because almost invariably, somebody doesn't show up, or some pages are missing, or you realize that somebody's name was typed incorrectly. Standing in the classroom 5 minutes before, you don't have access to a computer to be able to print things out. So this is why you've got to do things in advance, either the night before or the afternoon before. Secondly, so you can also take all the pages together and make sure that they're numbered properly to fit the table of contents. The other thing is communication. Everybody in the group should have the cell phone number of everybody else in the group and be able to BBM and text message them, because it always happens that somebody's late, or they don't know if they're walking down the hallway, or they're parking their car, or they're jammed up in the 404 or whatever. So it's really important that you've got communication with all the group members. And everybody in the group has to understand that if for some reason they don't show up, that they had a contingency that in advance they would have passed their material to somebody else. Because it's totally unacceptable for the group members to be standing there waiting if Kevin or Tamika or so-and-so is going to arrive with the 3 pages about the economic environment. That's unfair to the rest of the group, which goes back towards timing. You shouldn't be doing it the morning that you hand in your project. You should be doing it the night before, because if that person didn't show up the night before, then you've got at least the night and the next morning to be able to do that contingency. The other thing is following instructions. If the professor makes a particular point about saying things like, I want references at the end, I want the pages numbered, I want a table of contents, I want it to be bound nicely, not just stapling 27 pages, you should follow instructions. The professor's doing that not just to be mean or cause you some stress, but in the real world, that's exactly how people succeed in business, by doing what the boss asks. The other thing is attention to little details, like putting the names of the people who are in the group on the front page spelled properly. And also the suggestion I made about having a little box beside each person's name saying what each person did, so that when the professor's marking it, they can easily see what everybody in the group did properly. Which also leads to the last point, teamwork. It's really important that everybody in the group equally contribute. And if you find that somebody is not, for whatever reason, maybe they've got a family emergency or something and they haven't come to 3 or 4 of your meetings, then it's perfectly reasonable to just drop them from the group. Now, if it's only a one-time thing, you should make allowances for it. But if over the course of a month or a month and a half you're preparing a report and one person doesn't answer emails, they never reply to the text message, they don't answer when you call, then just drop them and only put the group members' names on the front. Okay? Those are my comments.